Imagine you're standing in a car dealership, looking at a vehicle that hasn't really changed its vibe in almost 30 years. It's not the flashiest thing on the lot. It doesn't have 500 horsepower or a screen that covers the entire dashboard. It's basically a big, sturdy box on wheels. Yet, for some reason, it's one of the best-selling vehicles in America, and the people who own them are some of the most loyal drivers on the planet. Why is that? Is the Subaru Forester actually that good? Or are we all just being tricked by some really clever marketing about dogs and camping trips? Today, we're tearing apart the Forester to see if it's the ultimate practical machine or just a boring relic of the past. If you think you know this car, wait until we get to the transmission. It's not what you think, and it might just change your mind about buying one. When you pop the hood of a brand new Subaru Forester, you aren't finding some tiny, high-strung, turbocharged motor that's trying to win a drag race. Instead, you're looking at a 2.5-liter boxer engine. For the people who aren't gearheads, a boxer engine is unique because the pistons move horizontally, like two fighters punching at each other, rather than moving up and down. This design allows the engine to sit much lower in the car. On paper, it looks decent enough, putting out around 180 horsepower. You'd think that's plenty for a family crossover, right? It sounds like the perfect recipe for a stable, reliable daily driver that can handle a commute without breaking a sweat. But here's where the frustration sets in. In a world where every competitor is adding massive turbos or high-torque electric motors, 180 horsepower starts to feel a little lazy. Imagine you're trying to merge onto a fast-moving highway with 4 people in the car and a trunk full of heavy camping gear. You put your foot down, and instead of a surge of power, you get a loud drone from the CVT transmission as the revs hang high and you just wait. You're watching the semi-truck in your side mirror get closer and closer, and you start wondering if you're actually going to make it into the lane in time. It's a moment of pure will it or won't it anxiety that almost every Forester owner has experienced at least once. The payoff, however, comes once you actually get up to speed and settle into a cruise. Because that boxer engine sits so low in the chassis, the Forester doesn't lean or tip in the corners like a RAV4 or CR-V. It feels incredibly planted and stable. The center of gravity is lower than almost anything else in its class, which gives you a level of handling confidence that catches you by surprise. You aren't going to win any drag races, sure, but you also aren't white-knuckling the steering wheel when the road gets twisty. It's the perfect just-enough powertrain for someone who values a smooth, predictable ride over raw speed.
Most compact SUVs these days are what we call soft roaders. They look rugged in the commercials with their plastic cladding and roof racks, but the second they hit a muddy trail or a steep driveway covered in a thin layer of ice, they basically give up. They're mostly front-wheel drive systems that only send power to the back wheels when they absolutely have to. The Forester is different because it comes standard with symmetrical all-wheel drive. This isn't an add-on feature you have to pay extra for. It's baked directly into the DNA of the car, sending power to all 4 wheels all the time. The real test of this system comes when the pavement ends and the weather turns nasty. Most people buy a Forester because they want to be the kind of person who goes hiking or skiing every weekend. But deep down, they're terrified of getting stuck in the middle of nowhere. You might see a trail that looks a little too rocky or a patch of deep, unplowed snow in your driveway. The tension builds as you wonder if you should just turn back and play it safe. Your friends in their sleek, city-focused crossovers have already parked at the bottom of the hill. If you go forward and get stuck, you're looking at a massive tow bill and a very embarrassing story to tell on Monday morning. This is exactly where the Forester humbles the competition. With 8.7 inches of ground clearance, or a massive 9.3 inches if you go for the Wilderness trim, it just crawls through stuff that would leave other SUVs high-centered. You click the X mode button, and suddenly the car's computer takes over the braking and throttle to ensure you never lose traction. While other drivers are spinning their tires and sliding toward the ditch, the Forester is calmly chugging along like it's headed to the grocery store. It gives you a level of capability that honestly makes you feel like a much better driver than you actually are. Step inside the cabin, and the first thing you're going to notice is the glass. There is so much glass. The pillars are thin, the side windows are huge, and the sunroof is basically a giant glass ceiling. Subaru clearly prioritizes visibility over sleek styling. While other brands are making their windows smaller and smaller to make the car look like a coupe, Subaru is making sure you can actually see the car sitting in your blind spot without needing a camera to tell you it's there. But then you look at the dashboard and the technology. In an era where every new car looks like a minimalist spaceship with hidden vents and weird touch-capacitive buttons that don't click, the Forester feels very old school. You've got a massive 11.6-inch vertical touchscreen that controls almost everything in the car. For a tech lover, this is the danger zone. You start worrying. Is it going to be laggy? Is it going to be impossible to change the temperature while you're driving 60 miles per hour? Is that screen going to be a giant fingerprint magnet that drives you crazy every time the sun hits it?
The relief comes when you realize that Subaru actually listened to human beings. They kept physical buttons for the temperature and a real tactile knob for the volume. The interface is simple, the icons are huge, and everything is exactly where you'd expect it to be. The seats are designed for long-haul comfort, not for looking sporty in a sales brochure. It's an interior that doesn't try to impress your neighbors or win design awards. It just tries to make your 2-hour commute or your cross-country road trip suck a lot less. It's the ultimate low-stress cabin. Subaru has a reputation for being bulletproof. You see Foresters from the early 2000s still roaming around with 300,000 miles on them, usually covered in stickers from every national park in the country. People buy these cars because they want to keep them for a decade or more. It's supposed to be a safe investment. However, if you spend 5 minutes on an internet forum, you'll find the horror stories. You'll hear about head gasket failures in the older models, or vampire batteries that die overnight, or the dreaded CVT transmission issues that plagued cars a few years ago. There's a quiet fear that follows every Subaru buyer. Did I just buy the one that's going to cost me $4,000 in repairs the second the warranty ends? The tension of owning a car with a quirky mechanical layout is very real, especially when you're relying on it to get your kids to school or get you to work in a blizzard. You don't want to be the person standing on the side of the road with a cloud of steam coming from the hood of a car that was supposed to be reliable. But here's the reality. Subaru has spent the last several years aggressively ironing out those kinks. The newer models use a heavily revised transmission and a much more robust electrical system. According to the latest reliability data, the Forester is consistently ranked in the top tier for its class. It's not just about the parts, though. It's about the safety tech. The EyeSight system uses dual cameras to act like a second set of eyes, and it wins top safety pick awards almost every single year. So while you might have to deal with a sensitive windshield or a few annoying beeps from the safety sensors, the car is fundamentally designed to protect your family and keep running long after the competition has been traded in for something newer. In the end, you have to compare the Forester to the giants like the Toyota RAV4 and the Honda CR-V. Those cars are incredible, and on paper they often beat the Subaru in categories like 0 to 60 time or maximum cargo volume. So why would anyone choose the Forester? It feels like you're choosing the slower car or the boxier car. There's that nagging feeling that you might be making a mistake by not just buying what everyone else is buying.
The payoff happens the moment you actually drive them back to back in the real world. The RAV4 can feel a bit stiff and cramped inside. The CR-V is refined but can feel a bit soulless, like a very nice appliance. The Forester is the only one that feels like a tool specifically designed for a certain kind of lifestyle. It's easier to park because you can see out of it. It's easier to load because the rear doors open a full 90 degrees. It's the thinking person's SUV. It's not about being the best on a spreadsheet. It's about being the best in your actual, messy, unpredictable life. So, is the Subaru Forester the right choice for you? If you're looking for a race car or a status symbol to show off at the valet stand, definitely not. But if you want a vehicle that's ready for a blizzard, a muddy camping trip, or just a hectic week of carpooling, all while keeping you safer than almost anything else on the road, it's incredibly hard to beat. What do you think? Is the Forester's boxy look a timeless classic, or is it just getting outdated? Drop a comment below and let me know. I try to read every single one of them. If this breakdown helped you out, hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next deep dive. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.